Good evening, I am Coach S. Planzer of the Dallas Staryu, and welcome to our Week 7 Team Builder as we prepare to face off against Isolate, aka Jonah, and the Great Lake Greninjas. A very threatening team. We are now 4-2 at the midpoint of the season, and we hope to get another win to bring us to 5-2 to really solidify our position at the top of the conference because that's number one seed here is on the line. That first week bye is on the line. That's what we're working for the second half of the season here. But let's see what the Great Lake Greninjas has. We have Gengar, we have Magnezone, Gligar, we have Greninja, Kyurem, Slowking, Tornadus Incarnate, Whimsicott, Hitmonlee, Pyroar, and Mega Scizor. So, I look at this team here, and there's a lot to prepare for. But the team I expect to see the most, I think that we're going to see Whimsicott, absolutely. I think we're going to see Kyurem, absolutely. In fact, I think we're going to see a sub-Roost Kyurem. I'm going to take it a step further there. I think we see a sub-Roost Kyurem. But he could bring Scarf Kyurem. He's brought it before. I think he's going to bring stuff to outspeed my entire team, such as Greninja, which does that. And possibly Gengar will outspeed everything but Scolipede, and Scolipede can't really touch it, at least not very easily, not without prior damage. And Tornadus Incarnate, I think he brings that because of the taunts. But let's go off to what I'm going to bring to prepare for him. So first off, we have Choice Scarf Gliscor. We're bringing it again. We brought it last week, but we didn't really have much of a chance to use it. I mean, we U-turned on the Suicune against Sydney, but we didn't really get to surprise anything with the Choice Scarf. And I'm hoping I can do that this week. Stone Edge is going to hit most of his team super effectively. It'll get that necessary damage I need on Tornadus Incarnate, on Kyurem, and a lot of anything else. He's not going to stay in on Magnezone, for example. He's not going to stay in on Pyroar or anything like that. But I can possibly get some good damage off on Tornadus or Kyurem, especially if he thinks that I'm going to stay and go for a sub on Kyurem or something like that. We have Fire Fang. It's only going to do about 60% to a Mega Scizor if it's fully specially defensive, but it's there to get it in range for a certain other Pokemon who's going to try to give it a little sucker punch. We have U-turn for momentum, and we have Stealth Rock, and I figure if I lead with this and I set up the rocks from the get-go, because he does have quite a few things that are weak to rocks, I can definitely bluff that Scarf a lot easier, and maybe get a surprise kill on a Kyurem or a Tornadus after they've had fire damage. That is the hope. Going on into our next team Pokemon here, we have Bojack the Kingdra. And we're bringing a physical set: Outrage, Iron Head, Natural Gift, and Dragon Dance. Now, this is Natural Gift Fire because I got the Wapple Berry. Now, the idea here is to set up a Dragon Dance and to try to catch a Whimsicott off guard with Iron Head, or a Mega Scizor off guard with Natural Gift Fire. Now, I know I can run Special and I can do Hidden Power Fire, and that might be best, but I'm wanting to try to catch the Whimsicott too. And I think it's going to be especially defensive Whimsicott, so I want to go and hit on the physical side with Iron Head. Also, once I take down the Whimsicott, Outrage just destroys everything. And, you look at his team, and I feel like physical offense is going to be more effective than special this week. So I'm really hoping it comes through. We are Sniper in case we get crits. I'm not running Rain, so I have no reason to run Swift Swim. And yeah, that's the idea. Dragon Dance on an expected Mega Scizor switch in, because that's what you switch in. You can't touch Mega Scizor. No. And try to get a surprise kill. But that is our Bojack. So moving on, our next Pokemon is Hindenburg the Togekiss, and we are running a physically bulky set. This thing right here, it's got Flamethrower because I want to live a Bullet Punch or even an Iron Head from a Mega Scizor and knock it out with Flamethrower. If it's fully offensive, it'll knock it out. If it's specially defensive, then it'll get it down to range for a Sucker Punch for later on. We have Air Slash and Thunder Wave for the paraflinchings. I try not to run Togekiss as a paraflincher. In fact, I'm proud to say I've got most of my kills this season without it. But it is available to me, and I do think that it could be useful to eke out a win in an emergency situation. And we have Tailwind for a certain other Sucker Puncher that doesn't want to use Sucker Punch. You'll see soon. To try to boost its speed. It could also be helpful for Bojack or anything else that I'm going to bring for offense to try to take down the Great Lake Greninjas. But this is our bold Hindenburg trying to put in some more work. Number 4 in the entire league right now after last week. So I'm really hoping that Togekiss keeps up. Really love this Pokemon. So next up we have Slytherin the Scolipede, and we are bringing this to try to Baton Pass a substitute into one of my offensive Pokemon. Also, you'll notice I'm doing the Landsat Berry again because I really want to try to Baton Pass Speed plus Focus Energy. I'm going to do it eventually. I mean, if I keep on, saying my strategy here, probably not. But I want to do that eventually. But we got Mega Horn and Rock Slide. Mega Horn will hit most of his team super effectively. We got Rock Slide for things like Kyurem and for Tornadus. We are running Max Speed Jolly, so that will outspeed Tornadus by 1 point. And that's our Slytherin. It's nothing different than what I brought in the past. So, moving on. Number 5, we have our Sucker Punchin' Pandora the Absol. We just recently acquired this in free agency, and this is the first time he is playing on the Dallas Staryu squad. And we are running this Super Luck, which means we will have an increased critical hit rate, which means if Scolipede Baton passes the Focus Energy into this Absol here, which I wanted to, then I will have a 100% critical hit rate. We're running Knockoff, Sucker Punch, Play Rough, and Flamethrower. Super Luck with Life Orb. This thing has the potential to do a lot of damage, especially if I can get that speed up. Excuse me. But if I do get the critical hit rate, even if he's got Hitmonlee, if I have the speed boost, then I'll be able to out-prioritize the Sucker Punch, and because Hitmonlee's defense is pitiful, I can actually OHKO that thing with a resisted critical hit Sucker Punch, which is pretty amazing. We have Flamethrower, running the Naughty Nature, because if I can get the Scizor in on a knockoff, then Flamethrower will proceed to kill it right afterwards. Now I'll probably take a boatload of damage from the Flamethrower and from the Bullet Punch, and honestly, if I can get the Sucker Punch off on that thing, that will be better. But I'm going to try to get that thing, that Mega Scizor with the Flamethrower if at all possible. We got Play Rough for mostly for Greninja and for Kyurem, because those are going to hit those the best. It will do about 90% to a Kyurem if it's not defensive. And if I get the critical hit boost, let me get that for you, little man. If I get that critical hit boost, then I will absolutely knock that thing out 100% of the time. So moving on to our last Pokemon, we have none other than our offensive Mew. We are bringing it offensive for the first time this season. We've been bringing this defensively for all of our games, and I don't think he's going to see the offensive Pokemon coming. You looking at mama, little man? You looking at mama? So we are running the weakness policy with Psychic, Flamethrower, Aura Spirit, and Rock Polish. The idea is to try to set up on a Greninja going for a Dark Pulse or a U-turn to activate that weakness policy as we Rock Polish up, and we will live it. We can even live a Shadow Ball from a Gengar as long as it doesn't have a life form. If it's like a Black Sludge or something like that, then that's fine. And there's a couple other things. Knockoff from Gligar. We could possibly set this thing up on a Shadow Ball if it's running from Slowking. Or even a knockoff from Tornadus or a knockoff from Hitmonlee. That is the idea here, to try to Rock Polish up on a super effective hit and go to town, because this set will beat the Great Lake Greninjas except for the Gligar, which will take 2 hits. Now I wanted to run Ice Beam, but I had to run Psychic because that's going to hit the rest of his team. So that is our team for this week. Let me know in the comments what you think. Leave your comments down below. Subscribe for me to see more. Like this video if you enjoyed. check out our battle when it goes up. Go check out my opponent's channel and comment on his videos and like his videos and subscribe to his videos. I am Coach Esplancer. This is Assistant Coach Theo. He is eating this Greninja up like we're going to eat the Greninjas up on Sunday. And I will see you for the battle. Signing out.